Let me turn this down. What's happening, y'all? What's going on with J Militant? You know what I'm saying? Here in the morning. We want to make this quick video before I get up and do what I need to do today. So yesterday, I find out that DeSean Jackson, wide receiver of the Philadelphia Eagles, made some comments about the Jews. Now, I found out about this too late, so I only caught bits and pieces of what he said, but I've heard everybody else's reaction off of it. And let me just give my side. Let me give not just my opinion, but let me put some history into this. First of all, let me just say I stand with DeSean Jackson. You know, I stand with him because the fact of the matter is, whenever somebody black goes out there and tries to educate people on the correct history and not just history that was just taught to us and just go with the status quo, then, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, of course you're going to disagree with him or have, you know, things that, you know what I'm saying, you disagree with him about or whatnot. Now, I don't think he should apologize, but I understand in his position, you got to, you know, you got to do what you need to do or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Stephen A. brought up something when he was playing devil's advocate, so to speak, and he brought up about 7 years ago, whatever the case was. What was that? The white boy that went out there spewing all that racial shit, and nothing happened to him. Matter of fact, he got a brand new contract. DeSean Jackson goes out there and keep in mind, DeSean Jackson, they booted him. The same owner, you know what I'm saying? Because he's affiliated with, you know what I'm saying, a particular street gang, right? But the fact of the matter is, let's stop playing stupid. Nearly more than half the league got a street background. Okay, so we can that right there we already know, right? So whenever a black man comes out with some history, some correct history, and not the history of what has been spewed, because keep in mind when people talk about history, what history are they talking about? Are they talking about the history that the white man put together for everybody to learn what he says is history, or are we telling the history that is the correct history and not the abbreviated history that they want to teach everybody in these public schools? You know what I'm saying? Like the Holocaust. First of all, the numbers have been conflated. They don't even have the correct numbers on the Holocaust. That's the first thing. The second thing is, when we talk about the Holocaust, the Black Holocaust is still going on today, and that's the biggest Holocaust and the worst Holocaust under any group of people. Okay? That's the second thing. Now, as we move forward, what Jews are we talking about? Because I see Stephen A. and the rest of these people out here trying to split the difference of, oh, well, you got the Jews and you got the white people. Just because, first of all, let's get something straight. When we talk about the Jews of today, we talking about white people. We ain't talking about black people. We talking about white people, okay? So it's one in the same. It's one in the same, people. The Jews of today are white. The so-called Jews of today are white. But if we talking about the real Jews of history, now, you know, I'm not a religious person. You know what I'm saying? I don't get into all. But I will say, if we talking about correct history, then the real history states that the real Jews, the originators, are of melanated skin, aka black. Okay? Those are the real Jews. Okay? So, we know. See, I understand when people don't want to go on their network TVs and their special shows and they don't really want to ruffle any feathers, because We know who's controlling these systems. We know who is who's in charge of all this. So when we sit up here and we call these motherfuckers out, y'all want to get mad. Why y'all getting mad? When it's the truth. When we talk about the elites of the world, they are Jews. Period. Why is it every time that a black person gets arrested or something of unjust happens to us, or whatever the case may be, who's the first ones there? It's them Jews. They the first ones there. They the first ones there. They the first ones we call. They the first ones, you know what I'm saying? So the power structure in itself, just from that one little piece, just shows you the type of impact that they have. There is no wiggle room. They're the ones that control it. Now, are they the only ones that's controlling it? That's why it's important for people to do critical research and not just regular research. Don't just go on here and hit Google and then try to look up something. No, you got to do some correct history. You have to listen to people when they tell you things. You ain't got to believe anything anybody says. But if you actually go and do your research, you will find out that what that person said, oh, he touched on something that, okay, I did not know. But you see, shows like First Take, cable news channels like Fox News, CNN, and the rest of these people, they will abbreviate the history every single time. And some people that actually do speak up, you see, they get silent. Because the history itself has to be told. If we're out here talking about correct history and correcting the history and making it putting the truth into it instead of a bunch of lies or misinformation, you guys don't really see. Do you guys really want the truth? Because I'm starting to think through all this stuff that's going on, you guys don't really want the truth. You guys just want to be stuck in your own comfortability. You know what I'm saying? I see prominent black people talking this nonsense too. Like if we're talking about Jewish people, we're talking about black people, right? Right? When we're talking about the Native Americans, we're talking about black people. We're not talking about these Indians of today that sits on these reservations. We're not talking about them. We're talking about the original people of this land, the original people of this earth. There was no other people on this earth besides us at one point in time. So we're native to this whole thing. We're indigenous to this whole thing. There is nobody before us. There is nobody before us. We have gone through more hell than any other race of people on this planet. Just people like DeSean Jackson, when he comes out and says something, don't vilify the man. Go and do some research. Go do some reading. Go do some research. You know what I'm saying? Go do some research. Go do some critical research. And you'll find out that, wait, hold up. Maybe what he said isn't wrong. Maybe he does have some, valid points to make. Because we know the Jews are the elites. They run this shit. You know what I'm saying? And we know about the groups that are affiliated with these so-called Jews, right? So, my thing is this. Instead of vilifying somebody who's trying to educate y'all, instead of vilifying a person for trying to open up the door so people will have the correct history moving forward, just listen. Don't just go off the base of so-called American history, because you're still spewing out his story and not his story. You know what I'm saying? So it's still a lot of abbreviation, you know what I'm saying, to what people say. Because it's like when people speak up and they really speaking out on the true history, it's like, oh my God, what the, you know what I'm saying? Nobody don't want to delve into that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody don't want to delve into that. Nobody don't want to delve into the fact that what we were taught wasn't really the truth. But in fact, a lot of y'all still want us to stay stagnant in the history about ourselves and the true history about this world, particularly in this country. So I appreciate what Steven Jackson said. Steven Jackson been one of my, he's been one of, look, shout out to Steven Jackson too. You know what I'm saying? San Antonio Spurs came out to the Bay, Golden State Warriors, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Steven Jackson, you know what I'm saying? That brother, you know what I'm saying? He stands for what he stands for, you know what I'm saying? And I love that brother for that, you know. But we have to not be afraid to tell the truth on what is absolutely real. Y'all want to talk about these Holocausts? Y'all want to talk about the so-called Jew Holocaust? And you want to put that in comparison to the Black Holocaust that still goes on to this very day? We could do that, and you're going to lose every time. You know what I'm saying? So you can't separate white people and Jews because they're one in the same. They're one and the same. You talking about they're one and the same. We aren't talking about black people. In context of what we're talking about right now, we're not talking about black people. We're not talking about another ethnic group. We're not talking about that. We're talking about white people who are Jews. So this is what I ask everybody to do out there. If you want to really learn history, and if you really want the truth, then don't be afraid and don't vilify somebody that is telling the absolute truth, when in fact yourself hasn't even done critical research. Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. motherfucking Smith. You are the definition that all skin folk ain't kinfolk. That every brother ain't a brother. I don't give a fuck what you done. Because you go on that airways every single day and you give out abbreviated history because you don't want to ruffle the feathers of the elites. You work more closely to the elites, you know, than a lot of us. You're a victim yourself. That's why it's baffling to a certain extent how you have just conformed your whole shit to kiss these motherfuckers' asses. You sit up here and defend and praise Disney. Everybody want to go on this whole... Why don't y'all ever talk about the history of Disney? Disney himself was a racist. Matter of fact, racism still goes on inside that company of Disney to this very day. But I don't never see y'all speak out on that. There's so much stuff that goes on in the corporation of Disney to this very day that none of y'all ever talk about, but y'all work for the company though. These same people, or now, well, at the time when you had your show, you know what I'm saying, the company of ESPN, you know what I'm saying, because you spoke out and you were speaking a whole lot of truth, you know what I'm saying, having real people on your show, and once they snatched that from you, what happened? It took a white man. And I believe Skip Bayless is Jewish. You know what I'm saying? I believe Skip Bayless is Jewish. So it took, now I could be wrong, correct me in the comments, I could be wrong, but it doesn't even matter because he's still a white boy at the end of the day, and it still took a white boy for this man to come back. And then what happened is Stephen A. started to kiss everybody's ass. And whenever somebody black stands up and really speaks the truth on what's really going on, Stephen A. always comes out and wants to vilify them. That he always wants to talk down. He always wants to say, "Oh well, they're correct," and well, you have to do this and you have to do that, and blah 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 blah. Blah. Basically, be a coon. He's basically his basic message is be a coon. You know what I'm saying? His basic message is being cool. Is be a coon. So, what are we doing? Are we going to continue to give out this comfortability history, or are we going to ruffle some feathers and give the correct history? What are we really doing? Are we just out here just to be out here just so our face can get shown? Or are we really out here trying to make a difference and trying to make a change and put the history and put the correct? Because let me tell you something right now. If people really knew and really found out, and because we're trying to get people to really find out who they are, not only that, but what the history really is, right? So, if people really knew, don't make a difference who they is. If people really knew who they was, then how they move would be in accordance to who they really is and now who they think they is. And that's where we had every single time. That's where it's like the needle moves, and then boom, right there in the middle, it stops. Why does it stop? Because people don't know who the hell they are. They don't. Black people just, excuse me, black people now, over the last few years, are just now finding out who they are, who they connect to. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be a Moor, an Israelite, Kemetic, whatever. We're all finding out, you know what I'm saying, what our connection is in reference to who we are as a people, right? So there's a lot of things, even in when I've done my research, when I really started to take this knowledge and this information seriously, I found out some stuff myself. Like, damn, like I didn't even know that. Yeah, it's uncomfortable at times, but you know what? I'd rather be uncomfortable and have the truth than be comfortable and be lied to. So, like I said, I stand with DeSean Jackson. And anybody else that's about real truth. And this is what I ask to all my brothers and all my sisters out there. Whatever it is you do, because right now we are at a critical point. We are at more of a critical point than ever before. Now I know a lot that has been said a lot over the decades. But because there's actual truth coming out in the midst of this is what makes it different compared to other times. So this is what I ask. Whatever it is you do in your life, day to day, Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday, Monday through Sunday, whatever your schedule is, and you come out and you speak on something and you speak that truth, don't apologize, because that's what they want you to do. They want to keep you conformed into how they want you to be. See, when they say something, the deflection is already going, oh, well, you know, if somebody says something about black people, then y'all going, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, we're not going to do that no more. We're not going to deflect off of truth. But what we are going to do is we're going to stand on it, we're going to ride on it, and hopefully one day, people will actually understand, like, wait, hold up. I'm not actually this, but I'm actually that. So let me, you know what I'm saying? So I can move correctly amongst people in the society that can, I guarantee you things will run a lot smoother if people knew who they was. Because then you wouldn't be stepping on nobody's toes. Because if you actually had an understanding, you wouldn't be stepping on nobody else's toes. So, with that said, I'm not going to stay on here too much longer. I got things to do. But I just want to come out here and say this, because too many times when we go out there and we speak truth, these fools try to keep us quiet. And it just so happens that it's the Jews that got this brother out here trying to keep him silent, comes out and apologizes, and then you got these Negroes out here telling him that what he said was wrong, when in fact what he said, hey, DeSean, keep speaking truth. I love you, bruh. Keep it solid. All right, I'll see y'all later. Peace.